Welcome back to No Shoulds Given. Hi, I'm Lisa.
I'm Sarah.
And this is part 3, the final episode in our series of visibility, self-abandonment, and all the conditioning that taught you it was safer to be impressive, agreeable, capable than it was to be fully you. So we've exposed why taking up space feels dangerous. We dismantled the lie that you just change your thoughts and your nervous system will politely fall into line. And today,
We stopped talking about why. Today is about what you're actually going to do, because insight is cute, but awareness is powerful. But neither changes your life if you keep abandoning yourself in the same quiet ways. Self-abandonment isn't dramatic most of the time. It's that yes without thinking about it, over-explaining, jumping into rescue, staying silent to keep the peace, being the strong one and refusing help. Is carrying more than is yours, because at least that way you feel needed.
it's autopilot dressed up as responsibility. And if you've been listening to this series thinking, yeah, that could be me, then this episode is where we shift from recognition to autonomy.
Not rebellion, not blowing your relationships up, not becoming someone harsher or louder and telling everyone to fuck off. It's quieter than that.
It's that pause before the pattern. It's choosing instead of reacting. And it's one small decision that belongs to you. So today we're going to give you a handful of questions. They're not comfortable. They're not fluffy. And they will show you exactly where your next self-led action is hiding. Because you don't need more self-awareness. You need one moment of self-trust.
If you've been listening to this thinking, yep, that's me, then this is the part where we stop analysing and start getting honest. Not to shame you, but to remove the excuses. So you might want to grab a pen and paper or open your notes app and get curious about what actually you need to be doing. So question 1, what am I pretending I don't know? You already know where you're overgiving, you already know where you're staying quiet, you already know the dynamic that drains you. So what are you pretending not to see? Because seeing would require you to make a decision.
Let that sit for a second. So this question creates that discomfort, doesn't it? Where it really kind of shines the light on what it is that you've been avoiding. It's reflective and it opens that door.
100%. It's where you really get that gut feeling, isn't it? That's where that intuition is leading you. But you are pretending because it's safer to not really know what you need to do.
Yeah. It's avoiding, isn't it? Avoiding needing to make those decisions or to create that habit change or to open your eyes and just say, actually, this is not acceptable anymore and that I need to make the changes no matter how scary or...
It's fear, isn't it? Because there is that knee-jerk reaction that to change will kind of blow things up. And let's be honest, it may create a few ripples in the pond. It's not comfortable. But if you're completely honest with yourself, on the other hand, neither is where you are right now.
No.
So it's choosing, isn't it? Which way are you going to go?
Also, who's finding at the moment with this whole last piece of the shedding the snake energy, is anybody actually finding that the decision is actually being taken out of their hands? Like that eye mask that you've been wearing, keeping yourself in the dark, has been whipped off for you, and all of a sudden you can see everything in front of you as it is, and you're almost trying to avoid it, but the decision's been taken out of your hands.
Yeah,
it's
I
there.
feel like a feral cat trying to be caught at the moment because I'm like so uncomfortable. Like my tolerance for anything that isn't aligned and all of the things that I've been avoiding, I'm not very nice to be around. I'm a bit prickly at the moment.
I'm feeling a bit the same, to be honest. I'm being very prickly around certain people because my tolerance levels have suddenly completely disappeared. I've literally gone from 0 to 100, and the most innocent conversation can have my back up and me ready to rip someone's throat out at the minute. And it sounds really harsh, but it's the truth. I'm like, what are you going on about? Like, this is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, and I'm also finding, I actually held a mini workshop at Retreat on Saturday, and I was giving some examples around this, and I could see the light bulbs kind of clicking on for people because they hadn't realized what the energy and this shedding was all about and where it's going. And so I was just explaining briefly, and yeah, I gave some examples, and I could see one woman going, oh, that's me. The next one, that's me. And it's like every example I gave, there was a woman like head pricking up going, oh my god, yeah. And like literally there is no choice, it's being unraveled for us, you know. But guess what, it's all for our greater good, because we can't make these decisions for ourselves. So the universe has gone, fuck this shit, we'll create it for you, because this is actually what you want. You just haven't got the bloody balls to do
make
it.
it so uncomfortable, you have no choice but to move.
Exactly. So you know, you're not taking this shit into the new Chinese New Year. We're making you shed it now. We've got how many days? 7 days to go, 6 days to go. Feel uncomfortable, girl.
Fuck me, I'm not going to have anything left. Maybe that's the point.
Yeah, exactly. Because what is left, like you said, is what's left is in alignment.
We have a load of space for all the stuff that's meant to be to come in.
Yeah.
That's quite exciting.
Yeah. People, situations, you know. This the whole thing of what we're wanting to manifest. Everything we've ever wanted is literally on the other side of this 6 days. So be uncomfortable, girl, because it's all coming. It's all for the greater good.
Yep. I'm not being a bitch, it's the universe.
It's not my fault.
The moon made me do it.
Yeah.
Right, question 2. Come on, let's get back on track.
Identity protection. So what am I protecting by staying the same? What is it that you are trying to keep hold of? So are you protecting being liked? Are you protecting being indispensable? Being the strong one, the calm one, being the one who doesn't need anything? Because if you stop abandoning yourself, you might lose the role. And I know we've talked about this in one of the previous episodes, but that rings massively true for me in the past. So it's natural. Just want people to, you know, our listeners to understand it is normal to feel this way, that if I don't wear this hat, what does it actually mean?
Yeah, because
what does it expose?
Part of our identity.
Yeah.
Or
who do I become without it?
It's part of our identity to keep us safe and hide behind.
Yeah.
I'm a strong one that doesn't need any help. It's just who I am, but it's not. It's in avoidance of being let down. Like, if I don't ask for help, no one's going to let me down. It's easier to take on that role and get my walls up, hide behind them. That's definitely been the case for me in the past. It is still a little bit my default now. It's not my personality, and I am safe. So
I think sometimes in these scenarios, sometimes it's really difficult. Like when you're talking about being the strong one, for me, that's the hardest one out of them all. I know I've talked previously about being the fixer and then not wanting to be the fixer. So when that actually happens, it's like, well, hold on a minute, why am I not good enough? And you start questioning the completely other way. But with the strong one, that's a really hard hat to remove, isn't it? Because if you remove that, then that vulnerability, if that doesn't go in the way that you want to, it leaves a deep gaping hole.
It's double layered as well, the strong one, because you need to trust other people, but you also need to trust in yourself to choose the people to be vulnerable with, how much you're going to share, where you're going to put yourself out, and you have to be open to help. You know, I think I've spoken about this before. When we get into that resentment trap of no one ever helps me, it's actually bullshit, because people do, but they may not be showing up in the way that you think they should be. Yeah, so then you spin that story of no one ever shows up for me. They actually probably are within their capacity or with as much as they know. They don't have a crystal ball.
I've been that person, you know. It's like, well, they don't show up for me, so why am I bothering to ask? And I get really defensive and upset.
Yeah, so that one is really deep and double layered, and it's the small little things that build that one, isn't it? It is little,
Yeah.
like brick by brick. It's not suddenly like saying, no, I'm not going to show up for them in that way anymore and I'm okay with that. That's a little bit easier. You can kind of withdraw, and and you can also be like, oh, sorry, I'm really busy, or I've got to take the kids somewhere. There's a little bit of like a degree of separation between you and withdrawing from being the indispensable one, but to let that vulnerability in for the strong one is a little bit harder.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Right, so we've destabilised the performance, and now it's time to get a little bit real with question 3. Discomfort reallocation. Where do I need to tolerate someone else's discomfort instead of my own? If you stop rescuing someone, they have to feel the pressure. If you speak honestly, someone else might feel awkward in that situation. You say no, and they're going to be inconvenienced. That's unknown territory in some situations, and it can be uncomfortable on both parts, but are you willing to let someone else be temporarily uncomfortable so you can stop being permanently resentful? Because ultimately, when we put ourselves in that situation to keep them comfortable, it does build resentment in us. We do keep the score, and discomfort is going to happen one way or the other, and are you going to keep sucking it up, basically? You're going to keep that inside.
At what point are you going to respect yourself enough where you decide it's time for you to actually speak up? And it doesn't even have to be this huge, great big situation. It could be something quite small, but inside you, the turmoil feels huge because you know that somebody else really wants the opposite. It could be going out. It could be for someone's special birthday, or it could be, do you even still want to be in that relationship? Or maybe you do, but you don't want to tolerate X, Y, and Z anymore. And that if that does continue, then this relationship can't, There's lots of different situations here, but how often are you tolerating your own discomfort and upset and frustration because you can't bear to think about dealing with somebody else's, which is only going to last probably 5 minutes, 10 minutes, couple of hours if you're going to have a massive argument with your other half, but you are living with those feelings permanently because you're going against how you feel.
And it snowballs and it builds. That you swallow your voice, feelings, opinion in that situation, that relieves one layer, and then you're in that situation again, and it leaves another layer, but that's on top of the last one, and it keeps going and going, and then
this is when we end up in explosions rather than
or unwell.
Adult conversations.
Yeah, feral cat backed into a corner.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it does depend on the person that you're talking to. It depends on that relationship you've got with somebody. It depends on how you are as a person, not liking that confrontation. Like, it's all understandable is what I'm trying to say. But there has to be a point where we decide that we respect ourselves more and we need to speak up because we deserve it. So question 4, what would self-led look like in this exact situation? So not in your whole life, not in some empowered future, the specific thing you've been thinking about this whole episode. What would self-led look like there? And you know what situation you're thinking of. Less explaining, not volunteering, saying I need time to think about that. This is a really good one actually, right? Because how often do we just explode and not actually allow us to listen to what the other person says and just stop for a second? Allow the silence to actually be comfortable whilst your brain actually takes in what's been said and allows you that time to process and respond, not react.
Yeah.
And it gives you, even if it's just 10 seconds, that's quick enough for you to go, what have they just said? What does that actually mean to me? How do I want to respond? Instead of reacting, and it turns out into this great big fuck off row that it genuinely didn't need to be if we just both stayed calm and decided to speak to one another like grown adults.
Yeah, there is a lot of power in that pause, isn't there?
Mm-hmm. And how proud you feel of yourself by responding instead of reacting. It feels so good.
But that one gets me, like, knotted up in the stomach. I'm not going to lie. Because it is like, depending on the situation you're thinking of, can feel like standing on the edge of the cliff and you know you've got a parachute, you know you're safe to jump, but that first step is like, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that because you don't know what to expect? Because what you say, that person isn't necessarily gonna take a second,
Yeah, they won't take
breathe.
a second.
Nah, you know that they're just gonna react, and you know that it's like a bomb's just gone off. But you know, just make it small. Just make it small in the first instance, right? We don't have to, especially we're talking about this relationship situation, we don't need to go full on in and say, you're so frustrated that you explode. I'm fed up of you. You're this, that, and the other. No, 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 no. If this doesn't change, and I'm walking out, and do you know what I mean? Like, we could just start with the small thing that even if they are frustrating you, what can we deal with right now? And then it's almost like a tester. It's like dipping that toe in. You know that, I don't know what's small and what's big here, but I'm like just thinking about the dishwasher. Could you put the plate away? I mean, is that a good example? I'm not sure if it is or not,
Yeah, because
really.
them things that you just like are low level gripes, but you keep the peace. That is the resentment builder, and then basically they say good morning in the wrong tone, and because you've not addressed the plate next to the dishwasher for the last 3 weeks, you rip the fucking head off. It is those small things that are where you practice and you build, it sounds wanky, but build that muscle. If you start with addressing the washing next to the wash bin or the plate in the dishwasher with the kids or the husband or whatever, and then it's reinforced and that safety is there and you get used to speaking up with the kind of menial stuff, when you are faced with the bigger stuff that carries a bit more weight, it's more natural.
Yeah.
It's not such a massive jump off the cliff.
Yeah, completely agree.
So it's built through repeatable actions, like we've just said, not dramatic exits. But if you are still hesitating, I want you to answer this. If nothing changed, what would this cost me in a year?
I love this question. I think about this often. If I don't change this situation, where am I going to be this time next year? If I'm still in the same shitty place, I am not going to be happy. And then all of a sudden, I am leaping, jumping, fucking it all off. But it's easy for somebody like me, or not in every situation, but
No.
I am that change maker. I like to keep moving, but I know it's not as simple as that for many or the majority of people.
It is easier for us now, and we do joke about like blowing things up, and I will hold my hands up and say I will willingly move countries, move house, move jobs, start a new business, rebuild my life. But those little things over like the plate in the dishwasher or leaving the toilet seat up and stuff, they're still difficult conversations with the wrong person. And we are at that stage now where the like consideration and that discomfort to movement is a lot smaller. It's a lot smaller. But because we have kind of done the reps with the smaller stuff, we've got comfortable having those lower level uncomfortable conversations. So we can speak up with more authority in some of the bigger stuff.
Yeah. And I'll say this happened with my husband at the weekend where he brought up a scenario, fair play to him.
Go on, Rick.
And yeah, I'll be completely honest, I couldn't see his point of view. And I was just like, well, I don't feel like you are connected to me. Like, I don't feel like you understands where I'm coming from. And it did start getting really heated to the point where I was really fucked off with him. And I was just like, do you know what? I can't keep talking to you. So we're going to stop this conversation right now. You don't fucking get me. And that's the end of it. Anyway, I woke up the next day and was just like, shit, he is so right. And it doesn't discredit what I was talking about, and we were talking about what I want right now, what he wants right now, what I want in the future, what he believes in for the future. And we've just been walking and reading off completely different pages. And the next morning I woke up and I apologised to him and said to him, I am really sorry. I completely understand where you're coming from. And actually, you're right. Right now, I need to stop looking that far forward and let's look at tomorrow or next week, because I am always forward thinking what I want, where I want to be, what I want to create for me, for the family, for business, whatever it might be. And I was just like, you know what? He's right. And it's not that he's not supporting me, he just doesn't quite understand yet. But what is important for us as a family right now is that we concentrate on now. So sometimes when it feels like it's going to be really uncomfortable and it's going to cause a huge row, like, what are you even doing together? Like, we're completely in different places. He doesn't bloody believe in me, all of this stuff. And actually, when you do allow yourself to be open and have these conversations, it allows you to, one, get how you feel off of your chest, but equally, it enables you to then be able to see it from the opposite side. And then going to sleep, not agreeing, allowed us both to reflect then. And do you know how I actually feel? I feel like we're closer now than we were
Yeah.
before. So sometimes we avoid these conversations when actually they're going to have a more positive effect than we can even begin to imagine.
Yeah, definitely. I think there is so much power in the pause. Just saying, like, I don't feel able to fully have this conversation right now, or I just need a little bit of time because I might react in a way that I don't want to, and I don't want to cause a row out of it because you've got a valid point.
Yeah. Oh no, I didn't say at a valid point.
No, I can't imagine you ever saying he had a valid point.
In my head,
Not in
you're wrong, but
the
we're not
moment.
talking about it anymore.
Yeah, not in the moment. I can't imagine you going, yeah, you're right. Even if he was 100% right and it was there in
Yeah.
black and white and neon sign, you'd be like, no.
Not
Same.
right now.
Oh, do you know what? I do worry about being in a situation, like being in a relationship where there is that friction and you have to make these compromises and grow together again, because I've spent a fair while on my own and I am Little Miss Independent and I have built a life that I don't have to answer to anyone in. Yeah, it does make
But
me feel a little bit like, oh God, don't even tell me what to do or what we're having for dinner, even though I spend 98% of my life hating having to make every decision about dinner. If someone came along and was like, oh, this is what's for dinner, I think, like, I would be like, oh, who do you think you are?
yeah, that was me when Rich and I first got together. I remember we went to Tesco's together for the first time, and I had my basket and I had a cat. So I had a great big bag of cat litter. So he went to take it off me. I don't think so. I am more than capable. Thank you very much. And he was like,
We are so
Lisa,
alike. But you know what?
I'm
I'm
just trying to
laughing.
help. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
like, thank you,
exactly.
but I'm fine.
But the thing
Now
is,
I'm like,
why are you not carrying this? The thing
exactly. And
is,
you're just trying to
though,
be a gentleman.
when you say it out loud and you are the strong one, little hyper independent, you actually, and you've shut yourself off to that help, you're just a petulant little toddler, aren't you?
Yeah, 100%. Yes, that's exactly what I was, Sarah. Thank you.
Oh, I mean, like, I'm the same. I am no, like, enlightened angel. I am fucking fiercely independent, and I can imagine that it's absolutely difficult to be around because,
Yeah,
what do you mean? Of course I can do it.
on your own. Yeah, I've been that person too.
So it's gonna be learning to on a whole new level. I'm good at speaking up for myself. I'm good at understanding the discomfort and taking the action, and I've let go of those identities to a certain extent individually, and I'm
Mm.
accept help from my friends and I don't isolate as much and all of those things, but that's fine in my little Sarah dome that I've created. When anyone wants to try and come into that, then I'm going to have to do this all again.
Yeah, but good for you for being the way that you are with your friends and allowing that help and allowing people to be in and being able to be vulnerable.
Well, I have friends now that tell me to fuck off, it's happening anyway.
Yeah,
Like you.
exactly.
So, yeah, no, it's good. It's been a steep learning curve.
And I'm sure as and when that happens, it's just meeting the right person, isn't it? That somebody that you can trust, somebody who isn't going to come in and just start demanding and telling you what you can or fucking can't do. I mean, anybody tries doing
Oh,
that, and I've been married and with him for nearly 20 years, he wouldn't dare. But in the
No.
same sense, I wouldn't dare tell him either. And it's having that mutual respect, isn't it? But we've both been in situations and in past relationships where that freedom of thought, action, needs, wants have just been completely taken away from us. And now that you've got that back and you're out of that situation, you're fiercely protective, and understandably too. But it's just finding that right person that you can trust, and vice versa.
And having the tolerance to go through that whole getting to know someone, because
Yeah.
we all know what I think of small talk and all of that shit.
Well, I'll tell you what, you just give me his name, I'll be straight into his energy, and I'll tell you if he's a
I'll
fucking
send you a picture. Get the cards out.
Yeah, Lisa will know, don't you worry. I can't believe I just spoke about myself in a third person then. What a dickhead.
So on that note, you don't need to become braver. You need to be honest. You don't need to move from self-abandonment to fully autonomous in one leap.
You do it in one moment, just when you choose yourself instead of performance, instead of putting somebody else before yourself. And when we talk about performance, it's not big, it's not grand, it's just pretending that you're okay when you're not. And then you repeat it.
And repeat it.
And repeat it.
Absolutely. So that's the end of this week's episode. Thank you all for being here. We would love to know what you thought and if anything came up for you. But we are going to take a 2-week break from now. We are going to go away in the background. We're working on a couple of things that we want to bring to life, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks with the next episode.
So it'll be Thursday, the 5th of March. We'll see you then.
We will indeed. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.